When the church speaks of stewardship, oftentimes you'll hear three words together: time, talent, and treasure. In today's gospel, we hear talent and treasure wrapped up into one. Jesus tells a parable of a man going on a journey and entrusting his possessions to his servants. To one he gives 5 talents, another 3, and another servant he gives 1 talent. And certainly for us today, the meaning of talent does apply how we use it. You know, the skills that we have, the things that we're good at, that we ought to be using for contributions to the world and the building up of the body of Christ. But the original meaning of the word talent was actually a weighted measure of gold or silver, equivalent to 20 years worth of wages. So in today's terms, someone who was making $50,000, a talent would be the equivalent of $1 million. Right? It's an incredible sum of money. It really is. It doesn't matter if it was 5 talents, 3 talents, or 1 talent. It's an incredible sum. And so symbolically, Jesus uses this parable to really describe the gift of faith, you know, and the spiritual gifts that we've been given. You know, if you stop and look around, people have different gifts. And sometimes, if you pay too much attention to other people, you might look and say, well, they have 5 talents worth of faith, or 5 talents worth of gifts, and I only have 1, right? Comparison is a dangerous thing in the life of faith. But ultimately, what Jesus is getting at is just this. It doesn't matter what talents you've been given. It doesn't matter how much you've been given. Even 1 talent is an incredible amount. And we're talking about the gift of faith. When Jesus returns, he has given us the gift of faith. But what will we have done with it when he returns? Will we have cultivated it, nurtured it, helped it to grow, spread in other people? Will there be a return on Jesus' investment in giving us the gift of faith? Ultimately, much of this comes down to whether or not we have a spirit of gratitude about what God has done for us. And I think maybe the person with the 1 talent, you know, if we're talking about this figuratively or spiritually, you know, maybe that person has a false understanding of who God is, just as the third servant had a false understanding of who the master was. The sheer generosity of entrusting the servants with this large sum of money should have been enough for the third servant to know that he's not the thief that the servant is accusing him to be. Well, just in the same way, in the life of faith, you know, I think that sometimes people have an understanding of God that he's a thief of sorts. And that if people respond to the gift of faith that they've been given, if they respond with faith and nurture it and cultivate it, then God is going to steal their life from them. Jesus says plainly in other places that, you know, he who loses his life for my sake will find it. Right? We're really fulfilled and become who we ought to be when we respond in faith to the gift of Jesus Christ. When we give our lives back to him, in service to him and to one another, we become who we were made to be. We become what we ought to be. We're ultimately fulfilled through that. God isn't a thief. He wants to give our lives back to us. And it doesn't matter if we perceive ourselves to have 5 talents, 3 talents, 1 talent. We have all been given an incredible gift in the gift of faith. And what will we have done with it when the Master returns? Will we have traded with it and spread the faith to other people and allowed it to grow in ourselves? Or will we have hidden it and fearful of the Lord taking our life from us and the things that we desire, just not allowed it to become what God intended it to be? So respond well to the gift of faith and offer your life in return to God for the gift that he has given you, and receive the reward that he so desires for you, to be built up and fulfilled and strengthened in him, and ultimately to be given everything in the heavens along with Jesus Christ.